I need coffee and I'm out of coffee. That's upsetting. Hey, it's Mel. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, it's lovely to have you here. Today is a very special video. This is something that I've known about for a while and for some reason it's always interested me. Today we're going to be talking about the death of Brandon Lee. There's a lot to cover in today's case, so let's just get right on into it. And as usual, feel free to leave a comment or consider subscribing if you like my content. Brandon Lee was born on the 1st of February 1965. His parents were Linda Lee Cadwell and of course Bruce Lee, who was a famous actor, director and martial artist. Brandon also had a younger sister called Shannon, who was born in April of 1969. Shannon is now the only living child of Bruce Lee. Brandon's parents got married 1 year before he was born. Bruce Lee taught both of his children martial arts at a very young age. Brandon was the only living son of Bruce Lee and he struggled growing up. Now, because Bruce Lee was very famous, he had different celebrities coming into his house, having conversations and going into the back garden to train. Brandon would actually watch his dad train with these different celebrities. These celebrities came in and out of Brandon's life. However, Brandon didn't always get along with his dad. Now, Bruce Lee did have a temper, his children would later confirm this, and because of his temper, Brandon's friends would not want to come over to the house to play. As I mentioned before, Brandon struggled growing up. Brandon and his family moved around quite a bit, obviously with Bruce Lee being famous. Brandon liked watching his dad work on movie sets, and at a very young age he decided that he wanted to be an actor. Brandon, as he was growing up, would be described as being kind. He had a great sense of humour and he was also very protective of his younger sister Shannon. He would always be there for her and support her. Sadly, on the 20th of July 1973, Bruce Lee died at the age of 32. At the time, Brandon was 8 and Shannon was 3. Bruce Lee's cause of death was swelling of the brain, which was caused by an allergic reaction to a headache medication. He died in Hong Kong 6 days before the release of his film, Enter the Dragon. After Bruce Lee's death, Brandon, his mom and his sister Shannon all moved to the US and settled in California. Brandon was educated at Chadwick School and Bishop Montgomery High School. Brandon really struggled with school and it is possible that he was bullied. At one point, Brandon got into trouble and dropped out of school 7 times. Brandon then attended Emerson College in Boston for a year. He studied drama there. Brandon wasn't very interested in martial arts like his dad was. His passion in life was acting. Brandon began his acting career in the late 80s and he became more popular in the 90s. He appeared in various films such as Kung Fu the Movie, Legacy of Rage, Rapid Fire, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Laser Mission and many others. But the film that gave him the most attention was The Crow, 1994. Now this film is a cult classic. It's in like my top 10 list. It's very dark and gothic, and if you have not seen this film, I recommend you go and watch it because it is amazing. Now this was a fantasy action film. The film was directed by Alex Proyas. The Crow was a very popular film at the time of its release. Brandon starred in the film and he was very dedicated to his role. In the film, Brandon plays Eric Cravin. The film is based on a comic book by James O'Barr. James was drawing combat manuals in the Marines when he decided to start The Crow. James hoped it would be a healthy way of dealing with the death of his fiancée Beverly, who was killed by a drunk driver in Berlin 1981. The Crow is a fantasy action film that tells the story of young Eric Craven, a guitarist and poet, who is resurrected back to life by a crow. The Crow is his guide and Eric seeks revenge against the men who killed him and his girlfriend, Shelley Webster. The Crow was filmed mostly at night when it was pouring rain, and Brandon was on a very strict diet for his role. He began his diet 6 weeks before shooting. Brandon even celebrated his 28th birthday on the set of The Crow. For the film, Brandon actually did his own makeup because he didn't like how the makeup artist department did it. It looked too clean and crisp and he wanted it to be kind of messed up. Kind of like the Joker's makeup if you've ever seen The Dark Knight. Brandon did his own makeup every night before going to bed so that when he woke up his makeup would look a little bit worn out. At the time of filming The Crow, Brandon was engaged to Eliza Hutton for a year. They were due to marry in Mexico on the 17th of April 1993. Now moving on to Brandon Lee's death on the set of The Crow. During filming of one of the last scenes, on the 31st of March 1993 on set, Brandon died. He was 28 years old. During one scene, Michael Massey's character Funboy shoots Brandon's character Eric. A prop gun was used. Michael was set to fire a Smith & Wesson model 629.44 Magnum revolver at Brandon 12 to 15 feet away. In a previous scene, the same prop gun had been used and it was fitted with dummy cartridges, which look more realistic on film. The gun was later meant to be fitted with blank rounds. However, since there were no blank rounds on set, a prop guy modified live rounds that were available, and he turned them into blanks. This worked fine and no one was hurt. But unbeknown to anyone, in the gun, the lead tip of a bullet had become lodged in the barrel. When the blank rounds were later fired, the cartridge was dislodged and released. In Brandon's scene, Michael Massey's character Funboy fires the gun, and at that moment, Brandon fell forwards instead of backwards. He fell to the floor and he didn't move. People just thought that he was acting. Brandon was shot in the stomach. Once people saw the blood and they realised that Brandon was injured, he was then airlifted from EUE Screen Gem Studios in Willingham, North Carolina to the New Hanover Regional Medical Center. After 6 hours of emergency surgery, Brandon was pronounced dead at 1:03 p.m. Brandon never got the chance to marry Eliza Hutton or have kids of his own. Once the death of Brandon Lee hit the news, everyone was devastated, especially his family and friends. Everyone wanted to know how something like this can happen. There's still a huge debate on whether prop guns should still be used or not. Prop guns are used during film productions. Blanks are used to imitate live ammunition. A cartridge is loaded into the gun, which is a self-contained ammunition package made up of a casing holding an explosive powder that, when fired, blasts out a bullet or a projectile. A blank cartridge is the same as a live round, except it doesn't have a projectile or a bullet at its tip. This is not the first time that something like this has happened. American model and actor John Eric Hexum, on the 18th of October 1984 in Central City, California, died on the set of Cover Up by an accidental self-inflicted blank cartridge gunshot to the head. And then there's the Alec Baldwin shooting, which occurred last year. I'm sure we've all heard about that in the news. It's really sad. It happened on the set of Rust, which was an upcoming film. Actor Alec Baldwin accidentally shot and killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Helena was from Ukraine and she was also a journalist. She died on the 21st of October at the age of 42. Helena was a mother of one and she had a husband called Matt. Matt recently has come forward and publicly said that during the difficult time, Alec Baldwin has been very supportive, and there's not a day that goes by that Alec doesn't think about Helena. Everyone's devastated. It's such a terrible loss and it's a really tragic accident, and there's some debate on whether it was an accident or not. I don't believe that Alec Baldwin was planning to kill anyone. I don't buy any of the rumours. At the time, Alec Baldwin was holding a prop gun, specifically a Colt 45 revolver, that was supposed to be loaded with blanks, but it was instead loaded with live ammunition. Alec Baldwin claims that he did not fire the trigger, but the revolver fired as he cocked the gun back for a practicing shot. The gun went off and shot Helena in the chest, and it exited her body and also hit Rust director Joel Salazar. Joel was injured, but Helena died at the UNM hospital. Despite this guy's name being mentioned in the media and on numerous news articles, I don't want to say this guy's name for legal reasons, but he was the film's first assistant director, and he assured Alec Baldwin that the gun was safe to use. At this time, there's an ongoing investigation. In light of the Rust shooting, Brandon's family, friends and Eliza Hutton have broken their silence. They've come forward to talk about the day Brandon died and how they felt. Brandon's family want to make people aware about the dangers of using prop guns. Brandon's funeral took place on the 3rd of April 1993. After Brandon died, the family agreed with the director of The Crow, Alex Proyas, that the film should be finished. Brandon's stunt double, Chad Stahelski, director of John Wick, stepped in for Brandon. CGI was used to digitally superimpose Lee's face onto the head of the double. The film was released on the 10th of June 1994. As for actor Michael Massey, after Lee's death he felt extreme guilt, he suffered nightmares for years, and he just felt really bad and probably received a lot of hatred because he was known as the guy who killed Brandon Lee, and he stopped acting for a year because he was so traumatized. No criminal charges were ever brought against Michael Massey, and Brandon Lee's death was ruled as an accident. Michael Massey has spoken to Brandon's family and also Eliza Hutton about the incident, and it's kind of helped him move forward. In the scene where Michael shoots Brandon on the set of The Crow, well, in that scene, Michael was not even supposed to be holding the prop gun until later, but the director had changed it. Michael died on the 20th of October in 2016 at the age of 64. He died due to stomach cancer. In 2004, Eliza Hutton got married to another man, and she now has a daughter. People think genuinely that the Crow film is cursed. I am a skeptic, so I don't know if I buy that. There's a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding Brandon Lee's death and the Crow film itself. My final thoughts on this is that I think it was just a tragic accident. I don't think there's anything suspicious about it. It's just something that happened. So that is it. That is the life and tragic death of Brandon Lee. If you want me to talk about cursed films like The Crow, then let me know. I might do something like that for Halloween this year. I have so many ideas for my channel, like upcoming series. I'm so excited. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know. As usual, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.